Thank you.
I'm even further away.
You're even further away?
Oh yeah. I'm sure you know already, but that's the cockpit.
Where?
So you see the first little smoking thingy right here, just beyond the car? That's the cockpit.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Obviously you saw the...
Was there flames right now? Something going on?
Not anymore, but
let's just watch how they're taking my shot.
I asked Michael to zoom in on it, but down where the other fire engine was, there was active flame down there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta go reset my shot.
Thank you.
Bye, Liz.
Bye, thank you. So this is the corner of what?
Salmon and Sample Street.
Salmon?
Salmon and Sample.
As in salmon, like the fish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fish.
Which is which, do you know?
Huh?
Do you know which is which?
Sample and salmon is this. They said NTSB will be here shortly, so our movement has to stay kind of where our line is.
Can you dial me into IFB?
Yeah, you want to get on IFB?
Yeah, of course.
Check, check. One of the bike. Copy.
I think I'm gonna wear a hat, just to, so I don't look so formal. I feel like I'm too glammed up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to chime in here? Yes. Okay.
I'm live though.
Okay. I can't. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I can't get in front of the camera because David's.
clear?
I'm with David. Mic check 1 2 1 2.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Okay. Okay. There you go.
Hi guys, yeah, and those live images that you've been showing, Raul and Shali, we're going to take you back and bring you back to this home here where you see a gaping hole. This appears to look like the resident or the house that really took the direct hit from this aircraft. There is debris everywhere of the Cessna. You can see the charred vehicles, and this is basically on the corner of Salmon and Sample Streets. Now you can see if you look further down, and I'm not sure if our photographer here, David, can see, there is smoke coming from what appears to be, and let me get a little closer here, it appears to be, it may be still some of the vehicles on this street smoldering. As you can imagine, when this happened just before 4 a.m., a chaotic scene. First responders began arriving to the scene of flames. They had gotten these calls that a plane had crashed. We now know it was a Cessna aircraft that hit directly into some of these homes, but at this corner here on Sample and Salmon, it looks like this particular home got the brunt, possibly a direct hit from the aircraft. There are so many moving parts to what has been going on as we are bringing these images live to San Diegans. It's really a devastating scene. This is a scene that these residents obviously may not be familiar with. I mean, when you think about when was the last time like that a plane crashed into homes like this, it's been quite a while. So there is plenty of debris here. Obviously, first responders are keeping folks away from the area, with the exception of media, and we are very limited to how much movement we can be. We're basically being kept here on the corner of Salmon Street and Sample Streets. You did mention, Raul, that people from this area have been evacuated. That is definitely the case. On our drive here to the scene, there were many family members, kids, their parents with backpacks and blankets walking away from the scene. In fact, we did talk to a resident in the area. Let's go to that interview and hear their response.
I think that's part of the plane door. Right there, that white. Looks like part of the plane. Yeah.
They asked that you remove the. I guess KTLA is going to take it.
Oh yeah, we know. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
It was just so quick.
Okay, yeah.
I saw Jacob's message.
One more time, one more time. What did you say, Mateo? Okay. Okay, perfect. What are you starting on?
The white shot of the house. I want to go to the. Got this one.
And that really is an understatement for the residents who live in this community. Again, on the corner of Salmon and Sample Street, where this small plane, a Cessna 550, we have learned according to the FAA, crashed into this home, and obviously the debris and the impact caused major destruction to several vehicles on this block. Very quiet here in terms of the residents. As we've been reporting, residents have been evacuated. We don't have specific details yet, you guys, on casualties in terms of how many people were on board this plane, what is going on with the family who lived in this home. We are still waiting for official confirmation before we bring that information to you. There are reports out there, but we don't want to speculate when it comes to a situation like this. What we can tell you is that this is an area that is being blocked off for several miles here in Murphy Canyon. I mean, we've got heavy residential, and most of the residents who live here are military community members. The YMCA, the Armed Services YMCA, is not too far away. Several schools are not far away from this particular intersection. So life today is going to be very different from the folks living in this community. But again, Raul and Shali, as we look at these images, is just absolutely devastating. And again, what we're watching are still vehicles that are hot and smoldering. That's why fire crews obviously are still here. While they are not actively putting out a fire, they are still here as this investigation is still ongoing, guys. It really is, because this home is so severely destroyed, so damaged. That's why it appears that there may have been some sort of a direct impact here. None of the other homes here have this much damage, but you're right in terms of the debris. I mean, the debris, there is aircraft debris everywhere in this particular intersection. And also the damage to the vehicles, as you pointed out, Raul, the charred vehicles extends further down this street. What you're looking at here, this is actually Sample Street. So you're right, it's right now, it's hard to really gauge, exactly where this plane crashed, but the images indicate that it could have made a direct impact here at this home. Now, we're still waiting for the official briefing. Again, in terms of what happened to the people who were in this home, what part of the house are we looking at here when we see this gaping hole? There is a vehicle on the property. Was that vehicle parked there, or perhaps that vehicle was moved because of the impact, moved from the street onto the property? It is charred. There are fire lines everywhere, water hoses, because the multiple fire units from San Diego Rescue are here. They were among the first responders here, putting on, obviously doing what they do and extinguishing the flames. Jose Isea is here with the city of San Diego. We'll try to grab him in just a moment. Was trying to flag him down. Perhaps he has some information to pass along to San Diegans who have questions about what happened here. Right now, behind me, we're looking at firefighters. They are putting up a ladder. Appears to maybe they're wanting to gain access to the second story. And these homes, I should point out, they look like they're townhomes, right? They look like they share a wall. It looks like they might be 2 or 3 units all in one building. As we're getting a closer look, so not exactly single family homes, but this particular area is more looks more to be like a townhome complex. Again, a heavy military community here in Murphy Canyon, guys.
Morning, what's that?
Everybody evacuated from
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just asking a firefighter if they had seen anything up on that second floor. I asked if everyone had been evacuated. He just nodded. So yeah. So really, I mean, these men and women who are out here on the front lines don't have a lot of information to pass along to us. Their number one job right now is to respond, to contain, and get the scene under control. So we'll really have to wait from officials as to casualties, what's going on with with the residents who were directly impacted by this crash. But they have obviously moved their ladder away. They were possibly looking to maybe inspect. We do have an inspector who's here standing behind me. I'm not sure who he is, but he has health inspector, possibly from the city or county. But again, this is something very fluid, as you know. This just happened a few hours ago, and it's pretty remarkable that firefighters have contained flames that have sparked because of this plane crash. But there are still some vehicles that are smoldering as we look live at these images down here on Sample and Salmon Streets.
No, we're going to have a briefing at 7.
At 7, okay,
With
so you're going to be part of that.
Chief Eddie, Chief Wall, and the mayor will be there.
Okay. Quién es Chief Eddie?
Chief Dan Eddie and Assistant Chief.
Assistant Chief.
Yeah, because Chief Logan's out of town.
Okay. So
But Chief Eddie's a rock star. He's a stud.
Chief Eddie,
Assistant
Chief
Chief
Wall,
Eddie for fire,
Chief
and then
Wall,
Police
and
Chief Wall, and then the mayor.
and the mayor. Okay.
The mayor's getting briefed right now.
Do you know? I understand nobody's been taken to the hospital.
Yeah, Chief Eddie mentioned that at our 5:30.
Is this a miracle?
Two people treated and released, but that was it.
He and the family? Here?
Yeah, they all self-evacuated.
They self-evacuated.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the direct impact then, I mean, just based on.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
If you guys got the video up on Santo, you'll see a wing, some rudders on the road. It hit a pole. It hit a pole on the street. There's a down pole on the street on Santo.
On Santa.
I almost crashed into it this morning.
Crashed there and then.
Yeah, hit the pole, lost her wing, and then came in.
Okay. Let me tell them that. Thank you. I've got some more info.
I mean, that's
Preliminary.
and that's what you can kind of deduce.
Yes. I've got some more information. Yeah, well, I spoke with Jose Isea, his PIO with the city of San Diego, confirming to us that the family in this home here that appears to have taken a direct hit from this plane self-evacuated. When you think about that, it sounds like a miracle that everybody is okay. He also mentioned that there were only 2 people from this particular community that were treated by first responders and then released. So far, no one has been taken to any local hospital. Again, this information coming from Jose Isea, PIO from the city of San Diego. He also mentioned, and I asked him again, just by the severe damage to this home, did the plane, does it appear that this was the home where this plane made the direct impact? He said that that is what the initial reports indicate. He did mention that a block away from here, it's probably 1 or 2 blocks. We'd have to pull up a map to be certain, but Santo Road, which is just a block away, correct, David? Yeah. Santo Road, he says it appears, the initial reports are that this aircraft hit some sort of a pole, possibly a light pole, lost a wing, and then came crashing into this home here. Again, that's what Jose Isea with the city of San Diego says the initial reports are indicating, or what you can deduce, or what emergency responders are deducing from the damage and what the scene looks like, that this Cessna could have first hit some sort of a pole, a light pole, off of Santo Road, which is a block away from here, lost a wing or some part of the aircraft and came crashing into this home. But again, confirming to us here just moments ago that it appears only 2 people in this entire community were treated by first responders, were released. No one has had to go or to be transferred to the hospital, and the family inside this home self-evacuated. We'll hope to get more information at their update. That's set to happen right at 7 o'clock. So we'll probably have to readjust locations here. That's about 15 minutes away from now, and we will have more for you during that live news conference. Control room, can you hear me? What is the direct date for the Mm-hmm. Ended up wanting to look live, which I'm gonna wait. Sorry, Shali, I got a bit distracted. I'm talking to our colleague, David Jason Austell, who from KUSI, and he's very familiar with aviation, having been a helicopter pilot or a helicopter reporter for so many years here in San Diego. Obviously now he's one of our anchors at KUSI, but I was just asking Jason, can I bring you in really quick, because he's very familiar with the layout of San Diego, and you were mentioning, Jason, that Montgomery Airport is not far from here.
No, I flew in and out of Montgomery for about 17 years, both fixed wing and helicopters. When I saw the location of this crash, realizing and recognizing that we're in IMC conditions, instrument meteorological conditions, and everything is speculation at this point, but just being here now, I just got here, 2 minutes ago, and looking at the maps and looking at where the field is, it looks like, and again, it's all speculation, but it looks like an instrument approach that went bad. That's my first thought, just looking at it and you can look right down the pipe and see that Montgomery's runway 28 left and 28 right are right there.
Not very far away from this location. Jason, thank you for explaining that. I just wanted to bring him in, obviously he does know the layout and how close this neighborhood is to Montgomery Airport. But again, we will have official confirmation as to where this plane was going, what direction, and what exactly happened. We don't know why this plane crashed into this home. We have inspectors, PD, firefighters here on this particular property where this airplane hit this home directly. We'll have more for you as we learn it, guys. We'll send things back to you for now. Sure. Right. Yeah. And you guys, and to go back to Raul Shali's questions about what an aircraft was doing flying at that early morning hour under those conditions, I can tell you, just even by looking at the Montgomery Regional Airport website, the airport is open 24/7 for aircraft takeoffs and landings. The control tower, according to its website, is open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, but after hours, the airport becomes uncontrolled. However, it is technically an open airport 24/7. But again, we don't have specifics and official information as to where this aircraft was going. Was it heading to Montgomery Airport? It's a possibility, or was there some sort of emergency prior to it obviously crashing where it needed to redirect itself? The other thing I'm waiting to hear is what happened to the people on board. Who was on that plane? How many people? We know in terms of officials, city officials, no one had to be taken to the hospital. Only 2 people here from this community were treated by first responders and released. And the family inside this home that took the direct hit from this aircraft and managed to evacuate, which in it itself can be perceived as a miracle that they were not hurt in this ordeal, guys.
Meanwhile, in the car were a young son and the dogs, and oh, by the way, the husband's on deployment. So you can imagine that there are a lot of people here without their respective spouses as well. So here's the situation. We are awaiting a press conference. What are we going to learn? How many people were aboard the plane? Maybe at the very least. Do we have a preliminary casualty count? But I can tell you, if you're in this area at all, you're certainly appreciative of the fact that you need to stay elsewhere, as it's a very chaotic scene even now. Despite the fact that the crash happened, a little before 4 o'clock this morning. So we'll be back here live in just a couple of minutes, and who's going to lead the press conference? We'll find out when we visit with you at 7. Lauren and Paul, we're back to you in the studio this morning from a very chaotic scene here in the Murphy Canyon, Tierra Santa area. So I can tell them when the press conference is about to start, or should I get on the phone?
I'll just leave my shot up. I can see.
Yeah, so just to reiterate.
Oh, was that? Oh, shit. Thank you. Yeah. So it did feel a little short.
Yeah.
Lead it to this. Excuse me. Got a question. Bill, I'm gonna ruin your life shot. Okay, pressure's been delayed. The chief is semi because he's stuck on. Going in, Bill. 805.
I don't know. Might want to just ask her. I don't know. Again, I don't know if she's gonna wanted to report from where Kenny's at with Kenny.
He just gave me Maria.
Okay. Well, she made a phone call to somebody. I don't know who she talked to. She didn't tell me. She just walked away.
Jug, there's a plane over there. Get out of there. Oh! God.
Man, you really are trying to kill me, aren't you? For fuck's sake, man.
That's my battery. Can you do that again? Literally, I was about to grab the cable and be like, yo, wait. But you just yanked it. You alright? Oh, you said? I get lost. Bathrooms. Oh, hey, look at that. Hold on. That's what I wanted. I'm gonna hold this for you while you take care of your there you go. There you go. Hey, Mike, check that.
Can I borrow an earbud?
There you go.
Just for the moment.
Left ear, I believe.
Yep. Here's a mic check. I don't hear anything.
Oh no! Whatever.
the whole tandem.
No, that was me.
I know better.
I just want to make sure, like, if both your guys here, like,
See, that can be broken. The camera, we won't see them again.
this thing, I mean, I can always that's what's
Okay, okay.
Here it is.
There's that voice
you gotta see, you're gonna have to go tell, like,
Yeah. You ready?
Chris yanked on his camera.
Well, no, almost technically, I can't say that because I didn't see it, and it's hearsay at that point.
I saw
We're ready. We're ready. Yeah. Mike check Ed. Mike check Ed. Mike check Ed.
Still gonna sue you.
Wait for the check. Wait for the check, that little check. Make sure it clears first.
Trust me, I just need an MRE.
Wild Bill's very flabbergasted.
Well, and one of the other things when you say they're trying to get information is just getting here. We understand there is an assistant chief here. Chief Logan was out of town at the time, apparently is on his way back and may be very close, but we understand this press conference, which has been delayed until we thought originally 6:30, now it's 7, now it's 7:15. It's not just information gathering, everybody's stuck in traffic. You can imagine the scene just on the 15. We've told you all about all the road closures, or at least indicated that this is an area where, you know, we've even hiked ourselves to get here because obviously they want everything free for emergency vehicles, period. You can imagine there are hundreds of first responders here, not to mention just physically San Diego Police and San Diego Fire. So speaking of the press conference, we are told Assistant Chief Dan Eddy is here. He's on the scene, but he's the only one. We understand that Police Chief Scott Wall will be part of the press conference as well. He's trying to get here. We understand that the mayor, and it may be, I would think that maybe Scott Wall probably is here, though I haven't seen him. I'm looking around the corner where all these officers have gathered, obviously, and trying to gather as much information as they can for this presser that's about to start about 7:15 or so. But we also understand the mayor is going to be here as well, Todd Gloria, and traffic is a huge issue. So just speaking of, if you're you normally take the 15 exits and entrances, etc. They're all closed. So here's what we know so far. We are at the Armed Services YMCA. This is where the command post was. When we first got on the scene here along Santo Road, we immediately stopped at the Navy Exchange because we had heard that might be an area where we can get some information too. What we got was some terrific interviews with people who had just evacuated, self-evacuated. And what was very interesting, again, not to repeat ourselves, but we certainly understand how fluid this situation is and that people are just joining us and just learning about this. We heard from a Marine aviation tech by the name of Sergeant Leonardo Cavillo, and he had just gotten home after an all-night shift maintaining F-35s over at Miramar, and he went door to door along with his wife and said, listen, get everybody up the hill, so to speak, because all the aviation fuel and the fire is going down into the canyon. Get everybody up. So people self-evacuated. That was not an official evacuation center. In fact, we're hoping to learn more about where people should go physically, because most of these people, they've got their animals and their pets and the clothes they immediately put on, you know, at 4 o'clock this morning. So again, to repeat, this is about 10 minutes of 4 or so. We certainly would think that given what happened here, the plane was probably trying to land at Montgomery as opposed to taking off. Montgomery's over there. Looks like the plane was approaching from the east and slammed into a number of homes here. We understand at least 15 homes. We don't know how many were destroyed, how many damaged, but at least 15 homes were affected. How many casualties there are, will we learn at least preliminarily. based on a flight manifest, if there is one available, how many people were aboard. I asked the sergeant, I said, in your expertise, can you tell what kind of plane it was? He says, I think it was a single-engine Cessna. So that's what we have from our so-called expert, and he was terrific. And the fact that he was keeping a cool head when everybody else was, you know, understandably trying to get the kids out and get out of pajamas and put clothes on and get the pets in the car. It was pretty chaotic over there. But I will say, you know, this is a military complex. It's Tierra Santa, it's Murphy Canyon. It is a huge military complex of Navy and Marine families. And despite the fact that many of them are without their spouses because they're on deployment, we talked to one, there's a whole mindset with the military, and they do keep, despite the chaos, they appreciate, because of the nature of the spouse's job, they seem to keep a cooler head at a time when, you know, everybody's losing theirs. So everybody was in pretty good shape over there. You know, the tragedy of this is, you know, in terms of the casualties on the ground and what's going on behind us here. Again, the intersection is Sculpin and Santo. You see that police cruiser there, just hang a left there behind that fire apparatus, and it's unfortunately the scene of the crash is right in there. So, you know, the plane's coming in, we would presume, from the east. You know, I doubt at this point, certainly NTSB at some point will be here. We appreciate that. I doubt we'll find out more about what, you know, was there a communication between the plane and the tower, or was it too rapid? Will we at least preliminarily learn how many casualties there are, just based on, okay, at least we know how many people were aboard the plane as opposed to who was in the homes at the time. And that's where we start to think about, oh my goodness, for all of the evacuees and people keeping a cool head, so to speak, and amidst all the chaos, we're going to have some very serious news if, in fact, we can get any information on how many people were killed or injured in this horrific crash. So again, we got a huge military complex here. A lot of people evacuated to a nearby school, Miller Elementary. But we will learn, hopefully, you know, was there any sort of communication between the pilot, or was it just, no, it happened too quickly? How many people were aboard? Do we have a general idea about how many people on the ground were killed or injured? And then evacuation centers. There are two nearby schools here, Hancock Elementary, which is, I think, closer to the scene than Miller. Again, we're at the Armed Forces YMCA. This is not an evacuation center. This is strictly the command post. We've got dozens and dozens of people in uniform here. Fire department, the homeless outreach team. I talked to two guys there. They're assisting. You can imagine every police agency, ancillary though it is, we're not talking about just street patrols and the hierarchy and the assistant chiefs and the chief. We're just talking about anybody and everybody in uniform is likely here to try to assist both with the crash site as well as the civilians. As I said, this is the populace of what's called Murphy Canyon military housing. I think we commonly refer to it as Navy housing at Tierra Santa. You know, how many people have been impacted? And again, these people have no homes to go to at the moment, just the clothes on their backs. But the interesting part was, if they hopefully grabbed a wallet and some money, the Navy exchange is right there. And I noticed there were several people with wagons and water. Everybody had a pet, some in the car, some outside. And kids, you know, awakened in the middle of the night. We gotta go, we gotta go. And again, the sergeant saying, hey, we want to move uphill. I'm just monitoring here. I think they escorted perhaps some people in there. Right where you see that police cruiser there, this is Sculpin and Santo, and just to the left is this horrific crash scene. So we, at the very least, we can tell people, all right, here's how we might assist you. And of course, the Armed Services YMCA, they're always assisting people. With food and whatever assistance they have, and I'm sure they'll be called upon. The Navy exchange as well. And we're looking at our time here. It is now 7:15. I'm looking around for Jose. Do we have anything? Trying to get one of the city spokespeople. And again, part of it's not just gathering information. I know the mayor wants to be here and give us some information, and you know, one of the our colleague in communications here with the city of San Diego said, you know, we got a traffic issue. They just can't get here. We had enough trouble on our own because obviously they want to keep these streets clear. This is something, you know, they do train for this, and remember, gosh knows, we were over in the Quivira Basin when the lifeguards were, you know, training, etc. So we're going to wrap it up here when we get confirmation as to when the mayor and Assistant Chief Eddie will be here, as well as Police Chief Scott Wall. We'll bring all that to you, but we want to go back to the studio because I think Jason's got more from the scene here. Do you want this back?
Just keep that. Give me the earpiece.
Oh,
It's from the wall.
sorry, I couldn't get to my pocket fast.
From the wall.
For us, channel 2 audio, mic check, 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 test, test, test. We're checking the microphone. We are here at the intersection of Sculpin and Santo Road. Santo is closed right now. We are waiting on a news conference from Chief Wall, San Diego Police Chief Wall, the fire chief, the assistant fire chief, and San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria. They are all getting briefed. We're good? Okay, everybody else good? Okay.
That better?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. And you guys have done mic checks and everything's all good? Okay. Okay. Chief Logan? Welcome everybody here.
Welcome and spell my name? Or?
Yeah. Introduce yourself.
Good morning. My name is Robert Logan. I'm the fire chief for the San Diego Fire Department. Spelling of my name is R-O-B-E-R-T, last name Logan, L-O-G-A-N. This morning at approximately 3:45, 3:47, we have reports of a plane down in the Murphy Canyon neighborhood. San Diego Fire quickly coordinated a response for a plane down incident, and our units responded and started to investigate. Upon arrival, they found multiple vehicles on fire, excuse me, and multiple homes on fire. Now I'll pass it to my assistant chief, Dan Eddy of Operations, who was here to give you more information.
Dan Eddy, San Diego Fire. So crews arrived on scene. The initial crews that found multiple houses and cars on fire. We had reports of a plane that had crashed in the neighborhood. It was unknown whether it was a military or a private plane. When they got on scene, they initiated quick attack of the fire and upgraded this to what we call an Alert 5, which is a plane off the field, followed by a second alarm, so we had enough units on scene. We were able to work with San Diego PD, evacuate homes across the region as we came through here and evacuate everything to the south of us. We were able to knock down those fires. At this time right now, we are able to say that no one was transported from the scene. So we don't have anybody that was transported off the scene, which is great news for us on this one. Fire was knocked down. We do have one stubborn car fire that will not go out to the south of us. So if you do see little wisps of smoke behind there, that's what that's from. At this time, we're continuing to fight the fire on that car fire. Everything else is out from the homes down the way. We have multiple crews that will be on scene doing decon and investigating. FAA is also on scene, and we're working in conjunction with them and San Diego PD to ensure that everything is searched, including the homes and everything that is involved with the planes itself. We expect to be out here for 4 to 6 hours at least, doing the investigation part of it until we pass it along. And then moving forward, we'll probably be here through the rest of the 24-hour period. I'm going to pass it off to Police Chief Scott Wall.
Good morning. First, I want to start by saying our heartfelt condolences to the families that are impacted by this terrible incident. From the police department side, our objectives were very simple: scene control, traffic control, and evacuations. We had officers from throughout the city that responded. We had over 50 officers that were able to get here within minutes. We started evacuating all of the homes that were impacted. We had an evacuation center up at Miller Elementary. We have close to 100 people that have been displaced and are up there. We've locked all the streets down. Essentially, Santo Road south of Arrow is still closed and will be for the next few hours and on into the day. And we're going to continue working collaboratively. I want to commend all of the first responders that were out here this morning: the fire department, the police department. I can't quite put words to describe what this scene looks like, but with the jet fuel going down the street and everything on fire all at once, it was pretty horrific to see. And for the police officers and firefighters to run in there, start trying to evacuate people out of the way and doing anything and everything they could to try to save somebody's life is really heroic. And again, I'm going to end with saying heartfelt condolences to the families that were impacted by this. And with that, let me introduce Mayor Todd Gloria.
Thank you, Chief. I also want to extend the condolences of the City of San Diego to the passengers aboard the plane's families, as well as those that are impacted here on the ground. We will be continuing to keep you all posted throughout the day as more information becomes available. But what I can tell you right now is that we have had an extraordinary response effort here, led by the San Diego Fire Rescue Department, the San Diego Police Department. But what you've seen is a collaborative effort with county, state, and federal partners, as well as our partners in the community. As we have representation here from the Red Cross, the San Diego Humane Society, and other key partners that are making sure that those who are impacted here on the ground have the support they need. And that's what I want to say is that our city will be supporting these families who are impacted here. They're part of the military community that makes up our city, the proud partners of our community. And we will support them for as long as it takes to make sure that we get back to good here in Tierra Sana. Appreciate it, the early communication from Navy Region Southwest, Admiral Brad Rosen, who's an extraordinary partner for our city. I also want to note Councilmember Raul Campillo is monitoring the situation very, very closely. He'll be out here later today. But we're all going to be band together and make sure that this situation is buttoned up. Again, extraordinary effort by our first responders. I can't emphasize that enough. The limitation in terms of the additional damage on the ground is a direct result of their hard work, of their expertise, of their professionalism. And I think every San Diegan expresses our appreciation to these heroes who got the job done this morning. It's still a tragedy, and again, our hearts are with those who are impacted. We'll continue to be here throughout this response effort. Make sure, again, the families who are impacted, those who are not able to access their homes, are well supported until they're able to get back into their homes. That said, as I mentioned, this has been a collaborative effort. We are on military property. These are military families, military housing, and here on behalf of Navy Region Southwest is the commanding officer for Naval Base San Diego, Captain Bob Healy. Captain Healy?
Good morning, Captain Bob Healy, and as the mayor mentioned, I am the commanding officer of Naval Base San Diego with oversight of this area here in Murphy Canyon. This is one of the largest military housing units in the world. Certainly we have a lot of military families that are impacted. Again, want to send our condolences and thoughts and prayers to all of those impacted by this. Our foremost concern right now is to make sure that we have the safety of our families who reside in the neighborhood behind us. We are doing that down the street at Miller Elementary, and we really appreciate the local cooperative efforts to make sure that our military families are taken care of. So that'll be primary going forward. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone. So thank you very much.
Any questions?
A point of
Preliminary casualty count
for fire. You stated that there have been no transports. Does that mean if casualties are limited to just those on the plane, or has it just not been a full sweep yet?
No, we've done a full sweep. We're doing what's called a fob. So we go in between and we're looking at everything down the airport that we have here. There's a possible debris field all the way back behind us, all the way into here. So we're going to make sure and we do a step-by-step process of going through. Through the housing units that we have down here, no one was transported out of the housing units. That's where I say we were lucky in that fact that no one from those homes was injured that we've had so far. We had some possible minor injuries, but no one was transported from the scene from any of the housing units. All the fatalities right now look to be that they're from the plane. We're working with the FAA right now to find out how many actual people were registered on that plane. We'll have more information for that here shortly when we get those numbers. But everything that's a fatality right now appears to be from the plane itself.
Can you tell us how many? Is it more than one fatality?
Yes, there are more than one fatality that we've found so far, but we're waiting to get the registered numbers that were on the plane itself.
Two things. It was a commercial. Was it what kind of plane?
It was a private plane. So a private plane, and it was registered out of the Midwest is where the flight originated from, is what we have. We're still getting the final information on it.
And how many people was it able to carry?
The plane itself, I believe, holds 8 to 10 people with the pilot included, but at this time we don't know how many people were actually registered on the plane.
Any communication from the pilot?
We don't have anything on the communication from the pilot.
Was the Montgomery Tower open at the time, overnight?
I believe so, but that's something that the FAA can answer for you. I don't know on that one. On the fire side, I don't know.
But we know of no communication last minute from the pilot of the plane.
I don't have any communication from FAA on that one if they were coming through on that one. On the fire side, we arrived on scene and found the plane into the sides of the houses over here.
Are we going to be able to hear from somebody with the FAA?
Yeah, later on we'll have somebody that'll come with the FAA. We wanted to come right now and give you the best information that we could at the start here, and then we'll get someone over here to give you more information.
Updated numbers on damaged homes?
At this time right now, that's what we're doing the fob and walking through on it. I can tell you that there are multiple homes, upwards of 10 homes that are affected. Also, when it hit the street, as the jet fuel went down, it took out every single car that was on both sides of the street on fire. So if you saw the scene, I know some of you had some images from earlier, you could see that every single car was burning down both sides of the street. And so that's something that we're gonna have to look at too. That's why you have the wisps of smoke, because we have one car fire that just will not go out no matter what we put on it right now.
Any homes destroyed?
There is multiple homes that are destroyed, yes. So
I had a question because I was down there at the scene and you saw the one on the corner with a collapsed roof. Is that the most significant?
that's the most significant impacted house, is the one on the far east side of that street. That's the most impacted. We are doing that walkthrough right now for looking at multiple items. One, damage to the homes. We're also looking for parts of that plane because it'll be part of the investigation as we go through, right? And then we're also looking for victims.
You say no one was transported from the homes,
yeah,
miraculously.
Yes.
Is it possible some of those, and I know this is very early, were vacant?
It could be that homes were vacant, but at the same time too, our fires crews did a phenomenal job of doing primary and secondary searches. The way that works for us is we have one crew search the entire home, a secondary crew comes in after them, searches it again. Now that we've had daylight, we're also flying our UAS, which is our drone. So our drone is getting flown overhead too to make sure that there's no damage on top of these homes or anyone there either.
Have any of the residents been able to tell you how in the world they survived in terms of your people?
I believe that some of our people ran into residents when they were coming out. I don't have any of the updates on that.
Was it headed to Montgomery Field?
It looked like it was heading in Montgomery Field. Yes, if you look, you saw the plane come overhead was heading in that same direction.
And do planes usually come in that late? Is that normal?
I don't know on that one. On that I'm unsure on that.
When you say Midwest, that's about all you have?
That's what we have right now. We'll have more information from the FAA on that once we get it. And for us too, it's very important for us to find out how many people were on that plane.
NTSB, have they talked to you and we're on our way from somewhere?
Yes, NTSB is en route also to do the investigation.
Do you know where they're from?
No, I don't.
And you know when they'll arrive?
Hopefully soon. I do not have an arrival time. As soon as we get that to you, we'll get it passed across from our PIO.
Was it all military housing that was affected?
Yeah, so everything behind us here is all military housing. To the south end of Arrow Road that you see is all military housing around it. We're standing on military housing ground here right now. So it was all military housing that was affected.
And when you talk about the debris field, like how can you kind of describe like how big of a debris field are we talking about?
So we're talking about the debris field all the way back to the power lines that you see behind you. So that's where we're investigating from there, trying to keep that area back.
You say power lines, possibly
I know you don't want to speculate without the FAA or NTSB, but there's a debris field from power lines that are nearby.
Yeah.
Can you be more specific?
So as you can see behind, there's a clipped power line behind us back there. We're trying to figure out if that was involved from the plane. That's something that they'll be investigating also. I don't have the exact numbers as to if it did hit it or not.
The nature of the debris below the power line would indicate?
That's what we're looking at right now.
what
that's where
kind
we're
of
sending.
debris are we
No, that's
talking
why we're sending our second FOB crew to see if it does affect it or not. Our first main concern was the houses behind us, to ensure that those were there. So our first crews went through and searched that. We're now moving our crews over to that debris field behind there with the FAA to work on it.
With the power line clip, do we know about outages right now?
So right now, luckily, we have no outages that have been hit. SDG&E has done a great job giving us updates and ensuring that everything is running well. As the day goes on and more people wake up and go through the rest of it, we'll ensure that we give you updates on that if there is any power affected.
I know San Diego Humane Society is here. We've seen a number of animals carted out of the neighborhood. Can you tell us anything about those animals?
I don't have number of animals. I can get that to you, absolutely.
If they were hurt or if they're...
I don't have that either. My main focus was trying to ensure that we had all the people out of there first, but I can get you all those numbers here shortly.
Do you know whether EMTs were treating people there? We were over at a self-evacuation center, and there were people with burned feet, for example, just trying to get out of their homes.
Yeah.
Did you have people on the scene actually treating people?
Yes, we had people on the scene treating people. Nobody was actually transported. The people that were over at your scene were brought back to the scene, treated. They were not transported to the hospital. They decided to sign out. Any other questions?
I think maybe for Captain Healy, what sort of services are available for the folks that are impacted back there?
Yeah, certainly we've had a community-wide effort to really bring a lot of services we need. I know the USO, the emergency services for the city is, and I've also had multiple organizations reach out to us to connect and find ways they can connect with our families. So we're using Miller Elementary as that staging ground right now, and certainly there's a lot of things that we're going to have to look at moving forward for families to rebuild, their lives and their homes and things like that.
Anything that somebody wants to do to help, who can they coordinate with?
You can coordinate with the base, Naval Base San Diego Public Affairs, and we'll take it from there.
And how are the evacuated families coping right now?
They're coping well. Certainly they're shocked, and to wake up to this, so certainly we're going to be by their side to make sure that they're properly cared for, as anyone would expect, and really appreciate the community-wide effort to support us in that endeavor.
I don't know if you can talk to this, but we've talked to some of the military folks who live in the neighborhood, and they really jumped into action with their neighbors. Probably a lot of their military training could have really helped out in a situation like this.
Yeah. Well, like the gentleman standing behind me, I mean, we're trained to act, in crisis mode. So many of the sailors, Marines, and others that you saw really, stepped in and took action and got the families out. And certainly the first responders jumped on the scene very quickly to support us. So it's team effort.
Captain, as the day goes along, is it possible there could be another evacuation center beyond Miller, or is that the official one right now? And we think
At this point, that's going to be the only one at this point. Sir.
I had one quick question just to clarify on the fatalities, and I know it's just you're looking at the plane, but is it accurate to say you believe that multiple people?
It's accurate that multiple people believe we have multiple fatalities. From what we've found so far on scene, we do believe we have multiple fatalities, but we're going to have to go through and take our time and ensure that exactly what we have.
Okay, guys, thank you for being out here and helping us get information out. We'll try to have another briefing before 11 o'clock, so I'll stand by for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
Captain Dixon, Naval Base Corps out of Public Affairs. Are you the public affairs?
Hey guys, we have a secondary media location that's set up. It's across from the house. 3197.
Still around.
Yeah, Jay.
Oh my God.
Should be here in a few minutes.
Look me up. Yeah.
Okay.
I've known Jane over the phone forever because I used to be a
3197
Miramar landfill guy. So we done a lot with Jane.
Okay, I'm Kevin Dixon. I'm gonna see if I can get Captain Healy over here. The day should be here for.
Candace Hadley is our fire carrier. She has the ones that we know.
You want me to use this?
check. Here's your mic check. Here's your mic check. Let me know. Hello? Here's a mic check from Ed. Mic check from Ed. Yep.
Move to your left a step.
This is a Scott. Yeah, I'm good to go. It's a jet, Scott.
That's just what somebody posted. Chrissy. Move to your left again.
We're gonna go back to where we were just at. But are we like are we gonna like on the other car the whole time?
Just give me a few things just so that we're
Yeah, oh my goodness, not just us, the Assistant Chief Dan Eddy. The interesting aspect of this is the fact that Chief Robert Logan literally was returning from vacation and he was here. But Assistant Chief Dan Eddy was the one giving us most of the briefing, as well as Police Chief Scott Wall in terms of the first response. I think that one thing that we were all taken aback when Assistant Chief Eddy said no one was transported from the scene. Now, certainly our hearts go out to the families of those on board, and there were multiple fatalities, but it is nothing short of miraculous, at least as far as now, that no one on the ground was killed or seriously injured. No one was transported from the scene. Yes, there were multiple fatalities on the plane, but the injuries to people on the ground when it slammed into these homes right here behind me, if you're just joining us, Sculpin and Santo is where we are. Just down the way and to the left, Salmon and Sample, excuse me, and 10 homes, some of which have been heavily damaged, if not destroyed. Multiple vehicles. He said, if you see smoke, we got the fire out, and the mayor said the same thing. So did Eddie. Everybody here said, boy, the response here, and gosh knows they trained for this, not just police and fire, but everybody associated with these various agencies trained for such a thing, and that's exactly, they went into plane crash mode. And the idea that no one, despite the fact that this jet slammed into homes, no one on the ground apparently, and again, it was interesting when Eddie said we go into a home and then another crew goes into the home. So they are still probably making sure that everybody on the ground is okay. I know we were down at the self-evacuation center. By the way, Miller Elementary is the official evacuation center. Captain Bob Healy, who commands the Naval Base San Diego, was here, obviously with a heavy heart, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that the families are taken care of here. We've got hundreds and hundreds of people who evacuated. Literally, we even talked to or saw a woman. We didn't want to approach her. She was being treated. She had burned feet, for example, because of the flames and the jet fuel, or the plane fuel, I want to say aviation fuel, that was all around. But it does not appear that anyone on the ground was seriously injured. So you go into this, there's an alert for a plane crash. The fire department was here, and apparently they were able to extinguish the fire relatively quickly. I started to say, and then I thought, well, maybe we better get to some numbers. He said, if you see any smoke, we've got multiple vehicles as well as homes, obviously. Well, there's one stubborn vehicle fire that just will not go out. But we're under control in terms of the issue of the jet fuel and the flames, and no casualties on the ground. Certainly there were multiple fatalities on that plane. Now, he said we're trying to get the tail number of the plane and identify exactly where it was coming from. We know it was coming from the Midwest. That's all we've got. Was the Montgomery Tower open at the time? I know Paul talked about the fact that it's not open 24/7, and especially overnight, and that the pilots talk to each other, and it's kind of a, you know, party line, etc. We do know, and this is interesting, because the debris field, because we kind of looked up at one point and said, you know, they put those big balls on the wires, obviously, to let, especially if you're from not in this area, there are big power lines here, and sure enough, we noticed one of the, and there were no power outages, by the way, here that we're aware of, but it would appear that the plane clipped a power line, because that's where the debris field is. I asked Chief Eddie, can you be more specific about the debris? No, but certainly there's a debris field that starts at those power lines, which are just to my right, and within sight, all the way, obviously, to the chaos of debris, if that's applicable, where the homes are. So no casualties on the ground. It appears that no one was seriously injured. We understand there were some burns here and there. People got out, and as we want to wrap it up here, but it was interesting in terms of, oh my gosh, you know, you're all running around. Military families are very different. They're the spouses alone with all their training, and I was just amazed at how everybody kind of stayed cool. Let's go door to door. Let's get people up from where all this flow is in terms of the flames as well as the fuel, and get them up here. And sure enough, a lot of these families moved to higher ground by instinct, and also the advice of some of the military people who were coming home from late night shifts at Miramar. And we'll explore more on that when we visit with you again. But again, multiple casualties on the ground, multiple homes destroyed and heavily damaged, multiple vehicles. But the first responders got here, they got that fire out, and it's nothing short of amazing or miraculous that apparently we have had no loss of life on the ground, although there are multiple fatalities on that private plane that was trying to land at Montgomery Field at 3:40, 3:47 this morning. We're back to you guys in the studio from a horrific scene here right behind me. So is Jason at the house?